What's up, everybody? Hey, we're doing some fun stuff, and watch this. We are fixing to surprise the hell out of Speed Tech Performance right here in Utah. I told them I had to go to Vegas, and we were talking about a few different projects, and they said, we're only 100 miles away, why don't you come see us? Well, here we are.
Richard Rawlings, the charismatic founder of Gas Monkey Garage, is known for building an empire out of rusty cars and big dreams. However, he found himself embroiled in a legal battle involving one of his Gas Monkey branded businesses. The lawsuit alleged that he committed defamation and attempted to breach his contract. The unexpected turn of events raised questions about what led to such a significant rift between Richard and Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. What sparked this legal battle? Join us to uncover the real reason Richard Rawlings was sued. No doubt, Richard Rawlings is a household name in the automotive industry, recognized for his strong work ethic. Richard isn't just hardworking when it comes to TV shows, but also in the business sector. He is bold and loves the spotlight, which helped him build a brand that is known far beyond his garage. However, in June 2018, Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, a restaurant tied to his name, sued him for a whopping $6 million. But what is the backstory like? To get the full details of what happened, we need to take it back to 2013 when Richard was still building his Gas Monkey Garage brand. With his success in the automotive industry, he saw an opportunity to grow his brand beyond the garage. So, the idea of a restaurant came up, and boom, Gas Monkey Bar and Grill came into existence.
You went from cars and motorcycles to the restaurant business? How does this happen?
It's pretty simple. That's my next goal, was to have a bar and restaurant. So every guy that works on cars and motorcycles in his garage has a refrigerator and a barbecue grill in the backyard.
That's right.
It was a natural progression. I just needed a bigger refrigerator and a bigger grill.
I love it.
And more friends.
Since Richard is a car enthusiast and not a restaurant guy, he decided not to run the business himself. Instead, he partnered with investors who would own and run the business. Richard's role in this was simple: give the investors the approval to use the Gas Monkey name and logo. What this means is that investors paid him to license his brand while he stayed out of the day-to-day activities of the bar. Fast forward to September 2013, the business opened just 2 miles away from Gas Monkey Garage. At first, it looked like a win-win situation for Richard. The bar featured a lively atmosphere, offering food, drinks, live music, and car-themed decor that reflected Richard's brand. His fans flocked to the bar, and it quickly became a popular hangout. Richard also showed up sometimes, and he even celebrated his birthday there in 2014, posing for photos and keeping the Gas Monkey hype alive. However, behind the scenes, things weren't so smooth. According to a reliable source, Richard frequently caused disruptions during the construction phase of the business. A bar employee, Tim Hinkhouse, wrote an email in May 2013 stating that Richard was extremely disruptive. He claimed Richard treated the construction workers badly, acting like a spoiled 13-year-old, and repeatedly halted work. The situation escalated to the point that Daniel Flaherty, the bar's managing partner, had to ban Richard from the construction site to ensure work continued smoothly. While this might sound surprising, remember Richard didn't own the bar, he had only licensed the name, so Flaherty had the power to kick him out. With the bad blood between Richard and the bar's manager, things didn't get much better even when the bar opened. The lawsuit claims that Richard repeatedly tried to interfere with the bar's operations, even though he wasn't supposed to. Daniel and other investors saw Richard as a meddler, while he likely felt he had a right to care since his name was on the brand. By 2015, the relationship between Richard and the investors had hit a rough patch. He started asking about the bar's finances, saying he wasn't receiving complete financial records of how the money was handled. Seeking transparency, Richard wrote an email to Daniel Flaherty pushing for answers. Daniel responded, telling him that he was welcome to audit the books himself if he wanted. Richard then replied that he didn't think the records even existed, hinting he didn't trust the bar manager. According to the lawsuit, Richard allegedly made defamatory statements about Daniel and the bar, prompting the bar manager to confront him in a July 21, 2016 email. "You were slamming me about being dishonest and stealing from you. As I have told you for the last 2 years, you are welcome to audit the books at any time." Richard then sent a reply that read, "My mistake for mixing drinking and emotions. Sorry for that." While many thought that settled it, things got messier in 2016 when Richard attempted to buy the bar outright and take full control of Gas Monkey Bar and Grill and its sister music venue, Gas Monkey Live. According to the lawsuit, the deal fell apart because he was short on cash. The failed deal meant the investors kept running things their way and Richard was kept out of the loop. However, trouble erupted in 2017 when an undisclosed buyer stepped up to purchase the rights to Gas Monkey Bar and Grill and Gas Monkey Live. It was a big deal that could have taken the business in a new direction. But just before the sale was finalized, Richard intervened and, according to the lawsuit, disrupted the transaction. Daniel Flaherty and the other investors were left furious. They alleged that Richard was frustrated over his failed attempt to purchase the bar in 2016 and retaliated by making damaging statements about them. The lawsuit cited the email Richard sent after the bar manager confronted him about the circulating rumors. They accused him of defamation, alleging that he spread false information that harmed their business, intending to escape his obligations under the licensing agreement. On June 14, 2018, Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, along with Daniel Flaherty, filed a $6 million lawsuit against Richard Rawlings in Dallas County Court. The bar argued that Richard's actions weren't just personal, but directly connected to his television fame and business empire. They sought $6 million in damages to cover lost profits from the failed sale, reputational harm, and what they described as Richard's deliberate and deceitful actions. Richard, on the other hand, didn't take it lightly as well. His lawyer, Austin Champion, fired back, saying the lawsuit had no merit and was merely an attempt to retain the Gas Monkey license. Richard's legal team argued that the bar had been violating the terms of their agreement from the start. This led to some back and forth in the court until a twist happened. In March 2019, Richard filed a countersuit, accusing the bar of unauthorized use of his trademark. His lawsuit raised several key issues. First, Richard stated that he had canceled the bar's licensing deal in late 2018. He claimed he had grown tired of their disputes over money and control, so he revoked their right to use his brand name. However, the bar continued to use the Gas Monkey branding. They retained the signage and continued posting on social media as if nothing had changed. Second, he identified several actions taken by the bar without his consent. One example was the bar's promotional partnership with a whiskey brand. In early 2019, the bar linked the Gas Monkey name to a whiskey brand on social media, hinting at some partnership. Richard argued that he didn't sign off on that, as it did not align with his brand image. Another issue was Richard's claim that the bar hosted lewd events. He alleged that the bar held inappropriate events that conflicted with the family-friendly brand he had built. He argued these moves made Gas Monkey look bad and broke the rules of their original deal. Third, Richard claimed that the bar owed him unpaid licensing fees. Under the licensing agreement, the bar was required to pay fees to use his brand. In the lawsuit, Richard alleged that the bar had ceased payments even before he terminated the agreement. To him, the investors were getting a free ride off his fame while he got nothing back. With that, he slammed Gas Monkey Bar and Grills with a lawsuit of $1 million. However, despite lawsuits from both parties, the battle in court didn't drag on forever. By August 2019, both sides reached a settlement and filed a joint dismissal. Although no details of the settlement were disclosed, Gas Monkey Bar and Grill rebranded after the legal dispute. The bar reopened in 2021 as Amplified, removing all Gas Monkey branding and shifting its focus to music and food. Richard, on the other hand, also distanced himself from the restaurant, closing Gas Monkey Live in 2020 before launching Gas Monkey Sturgis in 2024.